Legacy Media is falling apart, and as it crumbles, a void is opening, a void that we intend to fill. The big legacy news networks currently average just 1.2 million viewers a weeknight, and those numbers are only going to get lower. Legacy Media is dying, and the younger generation has moved on. Legacy Media panders. Legacy Media lies. Legacy Media does not know what the truth is, and they don't care about it. Legacy Media is a dumpster fire. This is why we few in our wild imaginations have started the Fight Laugh Feast Network. Our goal is to take down the Legacy Media giant of the last 50 years with our 5 stones. We started in 2016 with our flagship show, Cross Politics. Since those small beginnings, we now air on DirecTV. Our broader podcast network now gets over 4 million downloads a year. And our Fight Laugh Feast pub, which includes TV shows like This America, The Rowdy Christian's Guide, Pastors in Politics, and As the Lord Pleases, with your support, many more to come. Our goal is to become the flagship new media 2.0 network over the next 50 years and take over nightly news, sports, sitcoms, hunting shows, and more, all conveniently stored for you in our Fight Laugh Feast pub. We're already reaching the next generation through our podcast shows on YouTube, X, and our pub, while also tapping into legacy media audiences by airing our shows on TV through DirecTV and Xfinity. We have made a lot of progress with some duct tape and a good bit of intuition and a lot of sweat. And now we need your support more than ever. The TV networks have had such a negative impact on our households, and we're trying, by the grace of God, to put a stop to that. We have the opportunity. We just need the army. Now more than ever, we need you to join our pub to help us reach our goal of 1 million pub supporters in the next 5 years. There's no way around it. Competing with Fox and the Alphabet networks without money is virtually impossible. It's cheap for you to join. And when you do, you're combining your small monthly support with a growing army of like-minded Christians. We have thousands, we need millions. So if you want more of the Alphabet network's misinformation and lies, don't join. But if you want to give us a mere 5 stones, then please join the pub, and together we will take a swing at the head of big media, all the while fighting, laughing, and feasting to the glory of God.
A master called together a few young men of this generation and spoke to them, saying, "I gave your great-grandfathers a time of despair and poverty and global war. They were strong and victorious and built an empire greater than any other. But they were terrible fathers and raised entitled sons and daughters of rot who inherited everything through no courage of their own. To those rotten sons, your own grandfathers, I gave abundance and wealth and stability. But they pissed it all away on debauchery and sexual revolution, establishing many idols and slaughtering tens of millions of children in sacrifice to their appetites. One generation fought against the perpetrators of a great Holocaust. The next dishonored that victory with an even greater Holocaust of their own children. The children who did survive, your fathers, carried on the sexual descent of their parents into new madness and new disease, piercing and inking their skin like death-worshipping pagans as they did, establishing special days of pride to celebrate the debauch, slaughtering more children and castrating and poisoning others, claiming to be creators when they were destroyers, mutilating the young and calling it acceptance. All these generations I have judged, and am judging. Their madness now is only a taste of my wrath." The young men were afraid and asked the master why he had called them and why he was telling them these things. "Because it is now your turn. I am giving all of this chaos to you," he said. "Your inheritance is a world of crumbling false gods crowded with blind and mad worshippers. I am entrusting you with a world of empires built on cracked and heaving foundations. The time of your inheritance is near. You have only a little while to prepare yourselves." Seize this moment of chaos and build me a world of sanity and righteousness. When I return, I will judge what you have built for me. With so much rubble to work with, I expect great things. The master turned to leave, but the young men begged him to wait. How can we do this, they asked. There are hundreds of millions of unbelievers in our nation alone and only a few of us. Their master answered, saying, I am not a hard master. You will have the truth and wisdom if you desire it. And you may each choose one woman to help you. That should be enough. Go now and build New St. Andrews College. Carpe Chaos.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Water Break, and my voice is it's basketball season. It's in the middle of basketball season. Let me adjust the volume here a little bit. I coach 2 basketball teams, one at 6 a.m. in the morning and one at 6 at night, basically, and my voice gets no time to heal because I also do shows and talk on the phone. That's my job, is to talk.
I feel like it's a cumulative buildup for you because you do okay till like the second
January
half of the season, and then your voice just starts to go.
So it happens. It's good to be back with you, baby.
Good to be back. We've done such a bad job.
Yeah. We did a rerun last week, but the week before we were
here.
We were on.
I don't know. I feel like we almost need to reintroduce ourselves. Like, like
I'm Gabriel.
I'm Annie. It's really nice to meet you guys. Sorry. I think we should be more consistent here in the next.
Yeah, we should be. If you guys please share the show, definitely share it on really YouTube or on Facebook and Twitter. The X's. So go find us. Go find me on X. That's where we stream live the show on X, and then YouTube, and then Annie's really mostly on Instagram. So if you want to follow her, message her, you can go on Instagram, find her out.
Yes.
And I'm more on Twitter because it's political. And if you want to join our email list, or you can reach out to us and be in a conversation with us, you can go to emails at RenchMedia@gmail.com. That's Wrench, RENCH at RenchMedia@gmail.com. Thank you for all the listeners, all the feedback, all the questions we get over the course of the weeks and months. And I've really enjoyed even integrating some of those questions here on the show, which we might be doing in the coming weeks. Maybe do another Ask Me Anything. Is that what it is?
AMA.
There we go. I can't remember.
And I've got a couple emails that we need to maybe build a show around even.
Okay.
So we haven't forgotten you. If you've emailed a question semi-recently, you guys, we've just not been doing shows. So that's why it's so hard, Yeah.
Irregular. No, we came back from the New Year's and then we did show and then we didn't do a show.
Terrible.
But we did a rerun. Hey, this happened today and just want to praise God for it. President Trump pardoned the 23 pro-lifers that were some of them were in prison. Some of them, I think, were on probation. I think they were included in the pardon too. And just thank God for that. They were in prison for peacefully protesting Planned Parenthoods, and a federal FACE Act was used by the DOJ, Biden's DOJ, and the FBI to go after them. And a number of them were even arrested at the hands of guns and SWAT teams.
Yeah.
Peaceful protesters. They went to their house in front of their kids. Just real kind of wicked use of power under Biden's DOJ and FBI. And so that's been pardoned. I'm very grateful for that basically wrong to be made right at some level and everything. A lot of these were very, I went and spoke at one of the rallies in Nashville, Tennessee in July when they're being sentenced, and got to meet a number of them, including, of course, we already were good friends with Paul Vaughn and his wife and everything.
I don't know if you know this, but he was on house arrest, I believe.
Yeah, he was on house arrest, so he'd be pardoned.
Is that pardon lifted too?
Yeah, Gosh, he'd be one of those on house arrest that was pardoned, and he was only allowed. I don't think he was allowed to go to church on Sunday, but he's allowed to go to work and everything. So I knew he was pretty frustrated having to stay home from church while his family went to church and everything.
So it would be so frustrating. Yeah,
and then Cal, he was one of the guys that I met and spoke at his rally, and he's fantastic. He's actually been interviewed by the China Compass on our Fight Laugh Feast network, and just a solid brother. A number of them were just really solid brothers. And I remember at their rally, just, they're just like, God wants me to, if I'm going to go to jail, it's God's will. And, I'm going to spread the gospel in jail. And so anyways,
it's a great attitude.
Great great to it's good to give thanks for these things, and to Russell Moore and David French and all those who told us not to vote for Trump. Screw you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that felt better.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, including Mike Pence. Told us not to vote for Trump. Yep, unfortunately. Okay, so today everyone has New Year's resolutions. We all do it. Annie's probably the most hesitant person that I've ever met on doing New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I've actually historically never done them.
Yeah.
I've been kind of anti them. I also just want to point out that it is January 23rd. Back to my point about how bad we've been doing about getting these shows done, but it's still the first month of the year.
So we're still in January.
So we're talking about it, and I don't like them because I work in a gym, and every year tons of people come into the gym and effectively just take your treadmill, walk on your treadmill. Which, guys, listen to me.
They do it for like 3 weeks.
Listen to me. If there are really good treadmills, really sturdy treadmills that they're wider, they're heavier, the tread doesn't slip. You need to give those to the runners. Okay. Don't walk on those. You can walk on any treadmill. And I've just never, I'm in a white hot rage every day of January. When my treadmill is taken up by someone who's walking, you're on there, you're running, you're doing some sprints, you're doing like a 5 miler, you're being aggressive. I'll allow it. Okay. You chose well. Walking on my treadmill.
That's funny.
Makes me so mad. Yeah. And all that to say, you know how it goes in the gym. And I hate to be so pessimistic, but I mean, it's every year. The gym is full. Everybody's full of New Year's resolutions, I assume. They're like, I'm going to be, new year, new me. I'm going to be so fit. And then by February,
back to normal.
They're
back
gone.
to normal.
They're gone. So
it's funny because I was
don't be that person, and that's why I don't like New Year's resolutions, even though we're talking about them today.
I was buying a bottle of scotch at our local liquor store, and I went in and I asked Brennan, who's the guy that usually checks me out at the liquor store, and I said, man, how's it going? He's like, man, it's just slow. It's slow. And I'm like, why is it slow? I said, no connection. No. I was thinking, I'm like, why is it slow? And he's like, well, it's dry January.
Yeah, I guess that's
dry
really
January.
I guess that's
so
really
the gym. You go to the gym and you have dry January at the liquor store.
Did you see that meme I put on my Instagram stories about this hilarious? Okay, I should have got it so we could play it because she's so funny. She's just this British woman. She does hilarious little bits, but it was about dry Jan, as she called it, and it was just like she was talking about how it's like we're gonna make them eat plants, no alcohol. You have to go to the gym. Like it was just like this foreboding, like terrible. And that is what people do. It's what they do in January. So we're here to talk about it.
Yeah, and we actually got some New Year's resolutions. But when you do a New Year's resolution, I think it's good. It's kind of like you're cleaning house, or you're recommitting to something that you kind of dropped the ball on, or you're maybe wanting to do something you haven't done before that you think might be spiritually healthy, physically healthy, or something something you want to commit to. Yeah,
it's a good thing, even though it's cliche and a lot of times people don't stick with it.
Yeah. So my New Year's resolutions, you
have 5?
I have 5.
Okay.
I usually always do some that are going to be, I think, pretty easy to hit, and then some that are probably almost impossible to hit.
Yeah, because you've always done. I don't know if you've called them resolutions, but you've always done goals.
Yeah.
And usually you guys, we go on a date around now, and he's always like,
it's usually before that. I ask you, what are your New Year's resolutions? That's true.
And I'm
okay,
like,
I see where you're going.
Well, but I also feel like I'm just coming out of the throes of motherhood where it's very hard to think ahead. Like it's very hard when you're in it so thick. I don't know. Maybe that's partly my personality, although I don't think it is because I am a planner. So I think it's the motherhood piece, but I'm just now coming out of that like deep, dark hole where I'm like, don't ask me about my hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
He's always like, how can I be? What are 5 different ways that we can do? And I'm just like, I am just trying to get through one day. Like just trying to just do
1 week.
one day. Yeah. So part of it was that, but you always have like your New Year goals, and then you'll go back and you'll look at last year's and you'll decide like which one's you.
Yeah. And some of them are really hard to hit. And so I never hit all. Usually I do 10. This year I did 5 because you're doing 5.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully we'll get through them.
And usually I do 10, and I never hit them all.
Yeah.
But because I partly use this just to refreshen the push in my life and to push myself.
I think I can hit all of these. I think we can hit all. I think these are very realistic, very practical, which is the way that I am. And I don't know what his are, and I'm kind of scared. Like, is this how you're gonna? We don't see each other a lot during the week, so sometimes
right now it's basketball season. Sometimes
I'll like hear from someone else that Gabe's in Coeur d'Alene, and I'll be like, oh, well, that's nice.
He had a road trip today.
What? Do you know why he's there? Yeah, like we just. So I'm afraid I'm going to find out about something.
I don't think there's
kind of important.
There's anything. Okay. There's nothing mind blowing.
I'm used to it. Like we're moving, or you're buying goats. I just
which I'd like to do again.
I don't know. We already tried it.
Yeah.
It didn't go well.
Well, why don't you? So our New Year's resolution. One of the reasons why we wanted to do this because we know everyone does it, and we'd love to encourage you in what you're doing. And sometimes it's kind of nice to hear other New Year's resolutions and how you're thinking about them, and how you're thinking about trying to maybe hit the goal or try to kind of fulfill your own kind of personal, covenant you're kind of making with yourself.
Well,
and commitment.
It's really good to tell other people too, because
hold you accountable.
Really, it's so, and I know there's different opinions on this. Some people are like, no, it's just between me and me or whatever. But like, it's really easy to let yourself off the hook. If you get up and you tell people or you post it on Facebook or whatever, but like, it's like, okay, everyone knows now I have to do it, So I think it's helpful to do that. So anyways, you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay, well, these are in no particular order, and this one's kind of a downer, but we're already doing it. So I'll just go. Number 1 for this year, drink less alcohol. How exciting is that?
That's boring.
Oh my gosh. It's not boring, guys. It's a big deal. And it's mine. It's my resolution. In fact, you're already doing it more than me even. Okay. It's not a dry January. It's like a damp January where we're consuming.
That's funny,
less,
baby.
Okay. And I won't speak to you, but for me, I've always loved red wine. It's always just been my favorite thing. And probably I'm a very, for those of you who know me, like I'm a very, very nutritionally rigid person. And I like being that way. Like it comes naturally to me. Like I do not eat candy. I do not I'll probably have a dessert once a year, like legit. It's like, I don't really have any other vices or treats. So a glass of red wine while I'm making dinner has always been my thing, and I look forward to it. And I love how it's so good. But I don't really have a problem with that. Theoretically, but I have noticed and I maybe have told this to you, and I know a lot of women, this could be true for men too, but I know women around my age, I'm 39, I keep hearing this where it's like, man, it just is starting to make me not feel good. Like it just, and I don't mean like, I mean like where it's like one glass now feels like you had 2. Like, and you're just like, you're not, and you wake up and maybe you have a headache and that never used to happen or something. And I'm noticing that. And I need to do more research because I was like, what? This isn't good, But apparently as we get older, and again, I don't know if this is more for women or if it's equal for men and women, but your liver basically loses some of the enzymes that it needs to be able to like metabolize and break down alcohol well. And so it just starts to not be as pleasant, and like you just don't feel as good. So, and I've noticed that. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is just because I want to feel good. And 2 glasses of wine just doesn't make me feel very good as much anymore. And the second reason is I have noticed, especially as I've gotten older also, I don't know how connected these two things are, they probably are, that my energy at night really goes downhill when I have wine at dinner, like, or like while I'm making dinner or whatever. It's so therapeutic and nice while you're having it, but like then 7 o'clock rolls around.
You want to go to sleep?
Oh gosh, I'm so unmotivated. Like I'm so tired. I'm so unmotivated. And my son's like, "Do you want to play Uno?" And I'll try to be like, "Yes, absolutely." But in my heart, I'm like, "No, I don't want to play Uno. I want to lay down on the couch." And we have a busy life. I do a lot. I have learned to prioritize sleep a lot better over the last 5 years, but still, it just makes you drowsy. It just does. That's what alcohol does. You know what I mean? So I'm not like consuming a ton, but I'm just like, okay, I want to have better energy at night for my family. And we're getting to the point where our kids are not those little kids that you send to bed at 7:30 or 8 p.m. anymore. He has a schedule right now where some nights he's not even home from coaching basketball till like 8:30. And I literally could easily post a glass of wine or 2, just go to bed at 8:30. Like I'm just tired, so I want to move away from that. So those are my reasons. And I also have learned to make some fun little mocktails. The only downside is that our kids also want mocktails.
Mocktails. Now, explain what a mocktail is.
It's just like a non-alcoholic cocktail, but it's like fun because it's still fun and you still get the fun ritual and it feels like a treat, and you put it in the fancy glass and then you put mint leaves in there and you're like, oh, this is so, so I was making them for you because you were trying to not drink anything during the week, and then all the kids just line up and they have their fancy glasses and they're like, give me the mocktail. So we're a mocktail family now. But anyways, less, not none, less alcohol for me. I'm feeling better. I'm having better energy at night, and there you go. Your turn.
No, that's good, baby.
Yes.
So my number one, and I got these are in no particular order. But this one I failed miserably at last year. And it's kind of a difficult one for me, and I'll explain here in a minute. Read 1 book a month, so 12 books a year. Beyond kind of my work reading, and my work reading is actually the problem. And I'll get that. But this does not include reading the Bible all the way through. So so read 12 books a month plus read the Bible all the way through.
I do not.
In a year.
With your current schedule, when are you going to do that? Like,
yeah.
Do you count Audible?
I haven't decided if I'm going to count audio.
Oh my gosh,
or not.
you are in a phase of life where you have to 100% count audio. I don't barely read anything with my eyeballs except for the Bible. I
read news and articles and all sorts of stuff every day, but it's all kind of like more around like current events or political
for your show
stuff. Yeah, it's all for the show. So I'm reading a lot. I just need to make sure that I'm reading in a balanced way because politics and news and all that stuff.
Oh man,
it's not balanced. It's just not balanced.
You're never going to make it. You have to listen.
I have a list.
You have to listen.
I have a shelf of New Year's books that I made last year that I'm actually going to do this year.
Scrap
my
it
goal.
And get them on Audible and be like, sorry, buddy.
I'll get some. I don't mind Audible, but I actually like to physically read a book.
Yeah, but
I don't even like to read a book on Kindle.
Well,
because I prefer like the physical. And what that does. It's just everything. You read an Audible book, you're getting a different piece out of it. You're getting a different part out of it than you read a physical book. Even when I think I read a Kindle book, I feel like it's a different experience.
A lot of like actual readers, which I don't actually consider myself.
I wouldn't consider myself an actual reader.
I think you might be since you like that feel, but I think you just need to grapple with reality right now, Gabe, where you will read 0 books unless you listen to them. Okay. There's no shame in it, guys. I don't care what you say. I probably ingest 3 to 5 hours of something, a book, a podcast, whatever, every single day. And that's because
you're working out or you're going to pick up kids or you're going to,
constantly consuming, but it's always just listening. And that's just a phase of life that I'm in. I can read a book on vacation.
Yeah.
But that's it.
I bring a book on vacation and I do read some of it, but
listen, he has so much sleep debt. All he does on vacation is sleep, like the whole time. He'll wake up for meals and that's like it. You just feed him.
It's an exaggeration, but it's not
all day. And I'll be like, oh gosh, he's never going to sleep at night.
And I pass out.
And then he sleeps like 9 hours at night and then sleeps more the next day, which is why we need to get a getaway on I try to do it twice a year, once in the summer, once in the winter, or Gabe will actually die.
Yeah. I need a little rest. All right. So, but the big thing here is read the Bible through. So I do listen to the audiobook of Bible. Usually in the mornings or something while I'm showering or something like that. Yeah. Or driving to work stuff. And then read through the Bible. So audibly go through the Bible and read through the Bible once a year. That's pretty standard. I'm pretty. You do that. That's pretty easy.
You're very disciplined. Yeah.
Number 2.
Okay, number 2. This is trying to remember which one it is. They're all kind of different. Oh no, actually, this goes with the first one a little bit. Okay, number 2. I'm working hard this year to drastically de-stress my mornings. And I know it sounds kind of vague and like what, but I will explain. I am currently I'm wrapping up working with Dr. Amy Horniman's team on my thyroid, which has been a wonderful experience, by the way. Big plug for that program. Her NPs, they're all just fantastic. And I finally got myself to a dose that I think is actually efficacious for me.
Dose of what? Why don't you say
thyroid medication? That's how I got there. And then part of that journey is that you have these mandatory like check-ins with basically health coaches. And I didn't really feel like I really needed that necessarily, but for the prescribers involved require it for medical liability, probably. So I was like, great. And they were like, which one do you want? And one of them, her name is Susan Robin. She's really big on epigenetics and genetics. And I was like, I want her. That's really interesting. I don't know that much about that. I haven't really gone that direction, So anyway, she's the one who connected me to the concept of pH 360, which I want to get Dr. Cam McDonald on the show so badly so we can do a whole show about it. I had never heard of it. It's an AI-based platform, which at the start I was like, what? Yeah. Like, no way. Like, there's no way this is accurate. But basically it's this like whole thing that you do. And I did it with Susan after I found out about it, where you do all these anthropomorphic measurements, but like in-depth questions about health.
Anthropomorphic measurements.
So that's like, how long is your femur? How long is your torso? How long are your fingers?
Oh, wow.
The circumference of your skull. Like all of these things feed into this platform, and it spits out basically one of the 6 health types you are. And it like can't lie to you. Like you can't, you could be a fat version of that. You could be you could be a really thin, fit version of it, but it's like, that's what you are.
Yeah.
And anyways, all that to say, you guys pin that because it is so interesting. I'm very interested in actually getting, taking some kind of course so I can get certified in that, because it's the missing piece. I think it's the next level from everybody just do this. Everybody just be paleo. Everybody just go to bed early. Everybody knows, especially anybody who's a life coach or a health coach or a trainer, if you've been doing it long enough, there's certain protocols that work great for some people and just don't for others. And you don't really know why, And I think that the epigenetics piece, the genetics and epigenetics piece is the missing piece. So I'm very excited to learn more about that. But all that to say, the health type that I came out with surprised me a little bit, but not kind of it did, but it didn't. But basically, I'm one of those bodies that is supposed to actually be sleeping in or at minimum having a slower, not stressful morning. And that information is just really, really hilarious because I've been waking up at 5 a.m. and playing basketball or CrossFitting or doing something since I can remember, since the dawn of time. And I told Susan, I was like, and I've also been tired as long as I can remember. I've been a tired person. I'm so burned out by nighttime. I am so exhausted. I used to fall out of my chair in driver's ed. I used to have to stand in the back of class in high school after lunch to take my notes because I could not stay awake. I just could not stay awake. And I always just figured I was someone who needed more sleep, which I probably did. But I never thought about what kind of sleep and where my big stressors were in my day. I was very skeptical, but for the last 2 weeks, I would say I have moved what stresses in the morning I could, because obviously I'm a mom. I still have to get up and take my kids to school.
You got an early class.
Totally. Only thing that I did was take 2 or 3 workouts, the ones that were just my own personal running workouts that I could moved them from the morning to like right before school pickup, like 2 p.m., which is like the prime time for my phenotype to be exercising or stressing, apparently. And my energy at night has drastically improved.
And I've noticed significantly.
Crazy. And that's what she said. She was like, all these people who are really more like night owls have social jet lag. And so they think they're early birds because they're so burned out and exhausted at night. You're like, well, I guess I'm an early bird. I got to go to bed really early and then I'll just get up early. And it's just this vicious cycle. So super interesting. I cannot believe the difference that I have felt when that is the only thing that I have changed. There's way more I want to say on that topic, but I'm not going to.
We should do a whole show on that.
My goal is to continue to try to work with my physiology as best I can so that I am a funner, more productive mom and wife and person at night, especially because you're going to keep coaching. You're going to have late nights. Our kids are getting to the point where they need to stay up later. They want to hang out with friends. They want to talk to you. And I want to be at 9:30. I want to be able to have a really good conversation with my kids, not just like so tired that I'm like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. So anyways, interesting stuff. Keep your eyes peeled. I want Cam McDonald so bad. You guys will absolutely die if you get to hear him talk on this. It's so interesting. Yeah. So
well, then what's Annie's been kind of on this health journey for I don't know. I mean, 6 years maybe. In terms of
thyroid?
The thyroid thing, 5 years.
Long. No, I know it feels.
But
I have been paying for it.
But you've
for
also
10 years.
Yeah, you've also just communicated that like
4.
something just doesn't feel right.
For
a while,
So bad.
And then so she kind of got in. She kind of got some, I guess, leads or some information that maybe chase down the thyroid thing. You chase that down. You found some good doctors to help you on that. So it was multiple years process for that. And then as you kind of started figuring out your thyroid, I mean, sleep's always been an issue for you.
Always.
And
so
come to find out, it's not been the issue hasn't been so much sleep as how you orient. Your body wants to cut a certain way, cut with the grain a certain way. Everyone's body's a little different.
All your genes turn on the best at certain times of day.
Yeah, and everyone's different.
Well, and gym culture is early bird culture. It's get up. Like, what's that name? What's the guy? Goggins, or he's just like, or Jocko. Is it Jocko who always does the picture of his stupid watch at like 3:30 a.m. or something?
Yeah,
and
maybe.
And there's some phenotypes, like the activators that are completely genetically wired to do that. Bounce out of bed, full of adrenaline, full of, and they're just like, let's go CrossFit, and they thrive. And then all these other people who are like, well, I guess that's what we do. Just feel like trash,
Yeah, but I've seen a huge difference. This has only been like 2-3 weeks where you've been doing
made this change.
I've kind of poked at Annie a little bit that if she could, she'd go to bed 8:30 every day.
Totally. And I up until this point, I would.
I mean, she would. She really could.
If I could, I would. I mean, you can't always do that.
I told her, I was like, we aren't 70 years old yet. I don't even know. Maybe 70-year-olds don't even go to bed that early or whatever.
I still love to get into bed early. But like the other night, I was literally like vacuuming at 8:30, which like
she'd never do. I do
not.
So
I haven't done
her
that
just changing her workout schedule to work out in the afternoon. It's so funny because she's like,
that is all I changed.
Like usually she's having a hard time staying up till 9:30.
Oh man, and I'm still getting up early a couple days a week. I have to because of my work schedule. But just knowing like, okay, you don't have to go run your face off right, at 7 a.m. Like you're just actually going to just go home. You're going to eat something. You're going to rest for a little bit, and you're going to do that stressful thing at 2. It's been really transformational.
Pretty amazing.
Interesting stuff, guys. I'm still learning. We'll try to get someone on to talk about that more. And I also want to have you take that health test because I think I know what you are.
Yeah.
But I'm not positive.
I'm a microchip.
I think you and Liv are the same thing.
My body's a microchip.
It's also super interesting when thinking about children too.
Yeah.
Just kind of how your kids are wired.
Yeah.
Why some are so high energy. Why others have such a hard time getting out of bed. It's worth. I think it's worth exploring. Okay.
So number 2 for me, and this is I think I need
more exciting.
There's a little more background. There's a little more background needs to happen here.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur, so get all my companies in the black this year.
I support you. I support you.
And then particularly, I really want to see the Fight Laugh Feast Network grow and Cross Politic and Water Break grow, because I think we're in a transition media world right now where mainstream legacy media is going away. It's fading. The cable cord's getting cut. The
Fox, you mean like Fox News,
CNN,
any
all that stuff.
Big wig.
They're gonna decline significantly over. Yep. And now there's 2 things going on. One is technology is changing everything. Most people watch on their phone or iPad now, not on their TV.
Yeah, that's true.
And that transition's happening. And so how people consume media, TV, football games, all that stuff, it's changing. Now, I'd say the only thing that's going to hang on in a pretty, I'd say, typical fashion, right, at least right now, is sports. Sports, the only thing that anybody wants to watch live.
They still want to sit on their couch and watch
live.
Sports Center.
Yeah,
live.
We don't need to. And so news can even be watched after news is done. Nightly news. People are usually watching more clips than actual full news programs. Sports is going to be the only thing that people are going to want to watch live on their screen the whole time, the whole episode or whatever.
That makes sense.
Plus, in addition to that, so technology is changing, which is why we get way more audio downloads, and we get millions of audio downloads, which is our views, our actual video views, are very insignificant compared to our audio downloads. So the way people consume content's different. People can frame a house. Someone can work on a house while they're listening. They can't work on a house watching YouTube or something like that.
I mean, that's me. I just listen.
Just listen
all day long. I don't have time to stare at something.
The technology is changing. And secondly, I mean, it's been easily and basically since Trump started running in 2015, maybe it happened a little bit before that, but the media's lies have just been very exposed and very obvious in a way that they hadn't been used to. And then you see things like the Russia collusion stuff where they lied about that.
Right.
The Biden, Hunter Biden laptop where they lied about that.
Yeah.
You have, and so you have just kind of an exposing of a program or CNN or ABC or whatever, where they've been kind of built their platform on lies, and God pulls the rug out from lies. You can't build things on lies. And so you have kind of this worldview clash that's happening with old media versus new media and everything. So I think it's a real opportunity for the Fight Laugh Feast Network, Cross Politic, and what we're doing with Water Break, and would love to see that grow. Now, getting all my companies in the black, I have a small tech company that builds, basically we built a podcast hosting tool called dropwave.io. I have a Pango Media, which is a public relations agency that I run, where we help people start podcasts, get on shows, get guests on their shows, stuff like that. And that's doing fine. I'd love to, we got, I'd love to double in clients this year.
Yeah.
Cross Politic is doing okay in terms of finances, but really good in terms of views and listens. And we grew, our views on YouTube grew by 60% last year.
Really?
And we got suspended multiple times last year.
So YouTube more than any other.
YouTube, I mean, audio downloads are really consistent for us. But the one area where we saw a lot of growth is because we've been fighting YouTube cancel culture. We saw 60% in viewers and listens grow, which is really good and everything. So I'm pretty excited about where we're at. But I was I was vice president of business development for a company for a long time here in town. That they sold ownership and or new conglomerate, new investor bought them, and they kind of started going through transitions. And when a new transition happens, they get rid of certain employees, and I was one of the VPs that they got rid of, and everything. And so, well, in Moscow, either you go work for the hospital, you go work for the University of Idaho, or you go work for Walmart. There wasn't much.
Yeah, right.
Back in 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
And so I just had to start entrepreneuring my way through life. If I wanted to stay here in Moscow, I got job offers outside of the state for lots of money and just wasn't going to take it. And so basically since 2016, I've been an entrepreneur. I'm starting Business Makers Network this year, a Christian business network. Check it out, businessmakers.network. So there's things like that I'm doing that I'm pretty like are, what would you call it? Kind of a heartstring for me, but also a business model. I want to bring Christian business leaders together, and I'm turning into a business model too. And so as an entrepreneur, you guys know how it goes. I mean, it's just a fight every year. So I'd love to get everything I'm doing actually functioning well in the black and everything. So, and of course that bless my wife.
Yes.
She's been good for the ride. We've had obviously some very challenging years trying to be an entrepreneur in Moscow, Idaho. But one thing you've never done is doubt me and my desire to provide for my family all the way through and more. So
no,
there you go. Thank you, baby.
You've always taken care of business. You know, I don't worry about it. So.
Yeah. All right, number 3.
Number 3 for me. This one is totally different. Buy 3 more horses.
That's a goal. We've been talking about it.
It's a goal.
I just feel like if it's a goal, it's just
no. We're committed. We are committed to buying 3 more horses.
Not this year.
Yes, this year. Well, I mean, it's
2025.
2025.
I just feel like when we've talked about it, I mean, it's you've been pretty firm on trying to get 1 this year.
No, I always said 2 or 3. 3, obviously. Now listen, this is what I'm going to do.
3 this year.
I'm going to make sure that they're like brown.
I feel like we're going to do this live.
I'm going to make sure they're brown.
The brown horses.
And so we already have 1 brown one, and then I'll get 1 more, and I'll tell them. I'll be like, guess what? Look. And then from there, it's just a brown herd, and I don't even think you're going to notice.
Yep, it's probably true. It's probably true. Yeah.
It's right. Like, okay, listen.
That's funny, baby.
This is a big thing actually for us. I grew up riding. I grew up loving it. It was a wonderful experience for me. And then I somehow genetically passed down a love of horses to at least my 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the big. When did we move out to our current house?
2015. So the summer of 2015. Okay. So we got a house with about 10 acres. I call it a little ranch.
It is a tiny little ranch. Yeah. That was one of the, at least for me,
rancho.
That was one of the biggest motivators of buying that property because it 10 acres already pasture, barn, set up for horses. And I just really wanted to make that happen for my girls because it's just so, horses are such amazing animals to work with, to experience. You learn so much. It's physical. It's you have to be brave. You have to be strong. You learn to take care of a big, strong animal. It gets you outside. I love it.
And the responsibility also for the kids is fantastic. They got to get up in the morning and take care of the chickens, the horses. Yeah, it's really good.
So many life skills. Yep. And it's just so fun. And my vision was just like, and this is something that we can do together, which I'm also, it's a really big deal to me. Yeah. So anyways, we've had anywhere from 1 to 4-ish horses at any given time.
2, the most we've had that have been ours is 2 at a time. That's the most.
Yeah, we boarded some.
The horses are paying to eat our grass.
So
the other ones.
The downside is they're expensive, and if any of you, have horses or grew up with them, like
it's like buying a boat.
You're not in it for the money.
You pay for the boat, and then you pay to play in the boat. And then you pay to store the boat, and then you pay to, And
if the boat gets sick, you pay for that. And the boat's feet have to get taken care of every 6 weeks, and everything costs money, and they don't make you any money, right? So it's a little hard to justify on that front. And a couple other things is we are just so busy. So, our wintertime weather is not great. I mean, for riding, that is. And in a lot of the winter, it's dark at like 4, which is basically when the kids come home. So
from school.
So my struggle has always been, okay, is it worth this investment? Even though during a lot of the school year, which is a lot of the year, there's very little riding time and poor riding conditions, unless you have an indoor arena, basically, which we don't. That would be awesome.
Someday
hey,
hopefully.
Maybe that can be my other, maybe next year.
Maybe that's like 2030.
Yeah, indoor arena. So but always been torn, but I don't know what it is. Something about this year. I don't know if it's because I'm starting to see my girls and Cash grow up. You know, like, and it's like hitting me. Lives in 9th grade. I mean, we have her for sure until her senior year.
She's gonna be 15 this summer.
Yeah. And I mean, and then and she's a really independent girl. Like, I bet you she'll be excited to move out. I bet you she'll be excited to do her own thing. Which is, I'm just like, I'm feeling the time crunch. He's like, I'm feeling the time crunch. I know you, of course, but you know what I mean. She's gonna go. So I'm just like, I want to do things with my girls. I want to spend whatever money I make to. I want to spend it with them. I don't. You know what I mean? Like I want to.
God loves some coffee, buddy.
I want to do things with them. Like I don't know if it's parent FOMO. I don't know what it is. I want to run with them. I want to hike with them. I want to play volleyball with them, and I want to ride horses with them. So I'm just like I'm ready.
I actually got one similar. I'll go to that. I'm going to hop to this one. Let me add to that. Can I add to that?
Yeah, you can add to it.
Here's what kind of related to yours. I want to do a little more off-season basketball with our kids that we haven't done.
Yeah,
same thing. Basketball is becoming a real fun experience for our family and a serious experience too. Our kids really want to grow and get better at it. I'd like to do a little more fishing with Cash. My son loves fishing. Love to get the girls roped into that.
You're taking my next one.
Is that? Oh, did I take that one?
It's okay. We both are on the same.
Okay.
Thing about Cash, right. But I want Cash to ride too. I just want to add
and
that
this
in.
I'd say this kind of
he doesn't ride yet.
This is where ours merges a little bit.
This is his summer.
And really kind of what I'm trying to get at here with this create memories of their kids. That's
experiences. Like I want to do stuff with them. We're not going to regret that. Like I don't care within reason, I don't care what it costs. Like I would rather spend my money on that than like upgrade to a nicer car.
Because we're we're very good at being kind of a duty family. Like we work pretty well together side by side as a family. We during the summer we're mowing we got 10 acres, so it's a little more than just mowing the yard. You got
shoulder to shoulder,
a lot of shoulder to shoulder stuff, and our kids do chores, and we're doing basketball, which right now it's kind of more side by side instead of face to face. And
I just want to make memories, and I want and Liv in particular. She is a lot like I was when I was younger, not a real touchy-feely person.
No, she's not.
And
she's hilarious.
She has emotions. We know she does, but she doesn't show them a lot. She's kind of serious, just kind of no drama, no nothing. And I want to connect with her in a way that she will enjoy and understand. And that girl loves to ride, and she is an excellent rider. Like she is really,
she's strong,
very good. Rider, and we're not gonna miss out on that. So I'm gonna buy her something good. Why
don't you go to your next one? That was just kind of similar to mine.
Well, my next one was invest more time into Cash. Cash being our 10-year-old son. I want.
He's the youngest.
He's the youngest, and he's our only boy. We had 2 girls and then a boy. And I, on the riding front, he doesn't have like the horse girl. I love horses so much. I have a poster of a horse in my wall. Like he's not that way.
No.
But I know he would enjoy it. The more competent he got, and he's gonna. I think it will be so good for him to get brave. To get on a horse. And so this summer he's been on.
And he's ridden horses.
But I haven't put like, okay, this summer you're going to learn how to ride. I have done with Vita and Liv. And they were probably around this age. So it's fine. But like we're doing it. And also I don't want him to miss out. I want him to do this with us. But I just feel like overall, and I think I've said this on the show before. I don't remember. I just feel like my tendency as a mom, and I don't know if it's because my first 2 kids are girls and I'm a girl. I don't know if it's because they're just the oldest 2 and he's still younger. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like I have it dialed in with them so much better than I do with Cash. Like maybe we've missed some opportunity with him a little bit. It's also funny because his personality is just different. Like Vita and Liv are both very competitive, very, very like pretty physically gifted.
And Cash can get competitive. He like we play games with the kids and all that. He's pretty competitive.
He's about some things, but you watch him out on the
funny.
court.
He's a chill dude.
He's chill. He's a big chill dude, which is fine. Part of that's just a part of his personality. And I'm not trying to change it. I just feel like, man, I've taken those girls hiking. We have run. We do volleyball drills together. Like we go to like they're like my BFFs, and like we have this. I mean, they understand their nutrition. Like and Cash. I'm not like Cash. Go in the other room. I don't care about you. I mean, it's not like that. But I just feel like we need to not miss the mark with him.
Well, part of it is you're doing girl things with girls, with our daughters, and
that's true. So maybe but it's kind of not fair because I have more time to do that than you do. You know what I mean? So like we're gonna have to I just want to make sure we do not miss the mark with our son, and we don't in any way underserve him as his parent. So I want to get
being
him,
the only boy in the family.
Exactly. And so like I don't know whatever exactly that needs to look like. If that's like spending time in the yard tackling one of those football dummy things because he's not allowed to hit his sisters, or like I definitely.
Which we got one for him. We
did get one for him, so we're just waiting for better weather. So that's fun, and I just want to invest in that kid. And right now, that literally means saying yes to Uno almost every single night, and I'm going to do that. And do you know why?
Because he loves playing games.
Because I didn't have any wine, and because I did my workout in the afternoon.
Because I can be up till 9:30 now.
I can do it. Yes,
that's funny.
And I'm going to get him on a horse. I'm very excited about that. I just don't want to leave him out. And I want to really, really work on helping him with where he's weak and really, really capitalizing on on what he's good at.
Yeah.
And he's killing it at school this year. You know that?
Yeah, he's doing.
He has
his
like
grades are so
like
good.
all A's in the 5th grade. The kid is
He
smart.
started off a little shaky, but
he is
he really stepped it up. And he's a smart kid. Yeah.
He is competitive in that kind of setting. He's an excellent reader. He has great recall. You know,
his memory's like Annie's.
I think he did inherit my memory. You know, and he uses it against me every single day,
all the time. He's our lawyer.
He is good. He is a lawyer.
So I got one kind of related to this. So
that was my last really good one.
I got up. I weighed about 217 this morning. So when I started my weight loss journey, if you want to call it that, it's not really a weight loss journey.
100%, it's a journey. Tell me about your journey.
The heaviest I got last year was about 235.
I can't believe that.
So that was last year, sometime last year. I can't remember.
So you're down almost 20.
And I'm almost down 20. So I'm 217 this morning when I woke up and everything. And I think I would like to be between 205 and 210. I don't know if I want to be much less than that. I used to want to be about 200, but I think about 205, 210, I think is where I'd like to be. I'm 217 now. Love to basically lose another 5 to 10 pounds. But this really ties into actually what I'd like to do. And I did this last summer too, but is find time to work out with Cash, which I did last summer. Kind of continue to grow in that. And I'd like to get back to actually running sprints, but man, like, it's a different world when you get. I'm 45. It's just
babe.
funny.
You need to start with slow jogging.
Yep.
And sprints are going to be one of the last things you add in because it's just so easy to injure. They're fast. They're fun.
That's right.
But your body type I probably handles running well. I mean, you were a basketball player.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny that people think of basketball as like, oh, running, but actually you run the whole game.
Yeah.
So it's like you got these lean, taller, muscular but lean guys playing bad. So running for you is probably actually
I enjoy it.
Is a great choice. Is a great choice.
But not running long miles. I like the sprint thing's fun.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get back there, but also this is a good opportunity to work out with my son, teach him some discipline and strength, because that's a lot of self-discipline there as a young man. You want to grow into that and everything. So but it's a good thing that we can do that I think would be productive for both me and my son and everything. So that's another one.
I want you to do that again. I think that was really good for and just the fact that you're doing it together, I think that's really special and fun. And you were just like out in the yard doing stuff. I want you to do that one more summer with him, because he's only in the 5th. He'll be going into 6th, and then next year I'm gonna start getting him in the gym. And we've talked about this. I need to figure out in what context I can.
Because Annie usually teaches some youth classes. And everything. And right now it's just been solely women, girl youth class, because Vita and Liv is where they're at. Yeah.
And I don't know what I'm gonna do an hour for girls, hour for boys, do co-ed. I'm not sure, but I'm not gonna. I mean, Vita's already. I mean, they're so far along. I want to start him. I think next year. Give him one more year to do some push-ups, do some really basic stuff with you, and then I'm gonna teach him, because I don't mind handing him off to some meathead drill sergeant if he's like 16 and wants to be on the O-line, but I want to teach him good form first, because that's what kills kids. That's what injures.
That's how they get injured.
Is when they're never taught good technique. And they don't know when to say that's as much as I can deadlift with a straight back or whatever. So I just want to coach him first, and then we can see where he might go.
Love that. Okay, go to the next one.
Well, my last one, I kind of already talked about it, which is super anticlimactic. But my last one was deep dive precision health. But I already talked about it when I was talking about why I'm de-stressing my mornings. But I really do want to deep dive it. I've already looked up some of the continuing education and the courses that they do, and I'm super.
I wonder if there's that AI software tool. I bet it's out there to where we could buy access ourselves to the software tool.
You can. I have it right now. It's called Shay. It's an app, and it literally. I did the onboarding with Susan Robbins, what I was talking about, and went through the whole thing. Are your eyes dark blue or light blue? Is your skin flaky, or do you have how long?
How do you do Shay?
SHAE. It's based out of Australia, and I just thought it's a very shy. It's a very Australian sounding name, but it's actually an acronym. I don't remember what for. So that's like it's like PH360 is the platform. Shay is the actual. I don't know all the right words.
Interesting. Okay.
But it tells you these foods are good for you. These foods aren't good for you. Hey, it actually texts me all day. It's really funny. Good morning. Remember, you need to have a chill morning. Drink something warm. Sit down and reflect. It's super funny. I don't necessarily need it, but it's really cued in. And so far, even making some of the changes is been really, really interesting.
So you can just buy access to Shay and kind of
you would sign on with. You can get on the website and do it, or you sign on with a health coach. And so I did all my whole assessment, the tape measure stuff with like a Zoom call so she could make, because she was like, you really want these to be accurate. Like, okay, where is the middle of your femur? Okay, when we say waist circumference, where is that? Because I really want to,
little higher or lower or whatever.
Super interesting stuff. And once you kind of know it and you've learned about these different phenotypes, and it's all based off of like embryologically what layer you developed most in.
Okay.
The mesomorph, endomorph, etc.
Yep.
It completely just like puts you on this trajectory of like, you are going to have huge bones and have this huge body and have a slower thyroid and basically be like all the Pacific Islanders are, you know what I mean? Like just those big people. Or you're going to be like this super fine bone, super like neural, like little tiny ballerina person. And like, we all know that. I mean, like some of it is just like, you're born that way. Like, right. You're never gonna, Dwayne The Rock Johnson is never going to be a marathoner. It's never going to happen, and it's just once you know it and you see all these different phenotypes, you can't unknow it. And you just start looking in crowds and you're like, oh, look at there. So anyways, I'm going to deep dive it, you guys. I will bring more information to you. Dr. Cam McDonald is the CEO, I believe, of PH316. He's definitely, from what I can tell, the face of the company. He's hilarious, extremely smart, very good at describing and explaining what this all is, the different types. Really good. So he's the one I want to get on to talk about this more.
Thank you, baby. Yeah, and we hope to. We got some good interviews we're working on schedule for the future of Water Break.
I know Ben Lynch too. I'm hoping. I'm excited for him.
So my last.
What's your last?
This is my last one. Pastor Toby. Was it last Sunday? It was last Sunday. We all went to church together, right? Or did Cash stay home? He went film. He got pink eye. So all of us were at church except for Cash. Cash had pink eye.
Couldn't bring him.
Couldn't bring him.
You could tell.
But Pastor Toby's sermon was really good. And one of the things that he really reminded me of was preaching the gospel to yourself. And that was it's just a great reminder. I mean, it's really basic Christianity 101. But this is something that we really need to practice. I mean, the history of Christianity and the history of the Bible is God's people constantly forget him. And that's why, Jesus said, do this in remembrance of me. The Lord's Supper is there so we can constantly remind ourselves every week when we do the Lord's Supper. What we're doing is reminding ourselves of God's faithfulness and the death and resurrection of his son. So preach the gospel to myself, grow as a husband and dad. And this is kind of related really to some of the things we were talking about with like fishing and basketball and working out and so forth. But focus on really building a family culture, something me and you need to talk more about. Like,
as I get older.
As I get older,
you can't just stay the same. It's gonna.
I feel like we're going into a transition as a family. Livy's 14, Vita's 12, Cash is 10. We're getting to kind of the older years of the kids. So building family culture is going to look different. As our kids maybe eventually start getting jobs too on top of school, whatever, things are the dynamic's going to change a little bit. And this is something I've been coaching basketball for 3 years now at the varsity level, and something that, I'm learning or trying to figure out better to do, build a team culture, not, build a family culture, build a team culture, basketball team culture. And I feel like our family's really good again at doing things side by side together, mowing the yard, we're a productive family. But we also want to create memories like we've been talking about. And I'd say this is kind of my strength in coaching. Like I'm good at pushing the girls. I'm good at I think making them work harder. I'm good at getting them the drills they need to get better at skills.
Right.
But you got to build a team. You got to have a team culture, a team identity. And you got to think like a team. You can't just think individually and everything. So that's all just a number of thoughts that I've had these last couple of weeks. Cause coaching, I'm always trying to figure out how to do something, communicate to the girls better or whatever.
Level it up,
that kind of thing. And same for our family as we kind of are getting older in our family stage. I mean, I'm 45, I'll be 50 in a number of years. Our daughter in 4 years will be graduating from high school. It's just so
you just cannot even.
So love the life God's given us. Love all families know this. The older you get, the faster things go.
It seems that way. Seems that way. Yeah. It's starting to fly.
Having a baby, things are going pretty slow, actually. You feel like it might be going fast.
The days are long.
The days are longer.
Short, that's what they say.
Yeah. And then as you get older and your kids get older, the days go faster.
Yeah.
And so those are just some things that, we want a godly family. I don't want a family that necessarily just draws within the lines. I want a family that works hard and causes good trouble and grows up. We pray regularly that our kids would fight with us at the gates of God's enemies.
Yeah.
We don't want to just raise kids to be like good kids. I want to raise kids to fight with us with the gospel at the gates of our enemies, God's enemies, and not be just some kids that kind of ignore controversy, ignore fights. They just want to have their own peaceful life and everything. We want our kids to really grow up, and everything we do by getting them to ride horses, getting them to play basketball. That's all training our kids to be warriors in the kingdom, and for that to happen well, we all have to learn to preach the gospel to ourselves. So,
that's really
there
good.
you
go. We talked about Toby saying that on the car ride home.
Yeah.
I can be done, but I just one thought that I had
Yeah.
for everybody. Don't forget, moms and dads, to go on date nights. Okay, like we
love our date nights.
They're so important.
Yeah.
The busier you get, I think they're more important. Like it's so funny. Back when before we had kids, it was just like, yay, date, whatever.
Yeah,
like it was so easy, But then when we had little kids, it was like, we need a date night because I need to get out of the house.
Yeah,
I need a reason to put makeup on.
Yeah, that's right.
And not do the sporty hobo, which is what I'm doing right now. And like it was more of like
and you would ask me that sometimes. You'd be like, hey, I need to put some makeup on. I need to put up a nice clothes on. Will you take me?
When you work in a gym and then you're at home with babies,
throwing
you do need a reason sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's more like a survival thing, like get out of that, that kind of thing. And we were very good. We were very good about that. And then when the kids got a little older and it wasn't quite as intense, we kind of didn't do them as regularly. And now,
well, part of it was like school. They need help with homework at night.
Yeah, leaving at night was just really hard.
You just couldn't break away.
Totally. And now,
and then we have family night on Friday, so we didn't like doing date nights on Friday. And then we had Sabbath dinner, and
we did less. We did, and maybe we shouldn't have done that. Maybe we should have figured out how to make it work. I don't know. But all I know is we started doing them very regularly. We actually do a date on Sunday night of all times.
Yeah.
But that's simply because it's the one night that's free.
Well, and it's so restful. Like
it's
we've
so
all
fun.
like we don't work at all on Sunday, especially me. And it was a very relaxed day.
And you look forward to it. And we can like talk about our week.
Yeah.
A lot of these things that we just told you.
We produce our show that night, usually on water break.
One way or another.
Because we enjoy talking about
just talk
what we're
about
actually
stuff.
talking about. We enjoy talking about.
All of these resolutions are things that we have talked about mostly on that Sunday scheduled date night. So I just want to encourage you guys to make sure maybe it's a date night. Oftentimes it is really nice to just get out and go somewhere. It's fun. It's really nice for your wife to not have to cook. It's a nice break, moving into another busy week. But it could also just be sitting on the porch. It could be sitting on the couch together.
We actually do date nights on the porch, especially during the summer.
Yeah, we call it porch time.
Porch time. And
we love
glorious.
that too. But just something that's special that you look forward to, where you can regularly download with each other and talk about things like this. Because I mean, these goals matter. Your vision for your family, or the things you want to accomplish, you should be talking about them with each other. And like he said, like I just feel like it's always every year it's like, okay, now what should we be doing? Because it just doesn't stay the same. It doesn't stay the same. And I do think we're in this new era now. So I'm really excited about it. Excited for this new year. Yeah,
me too. I think 2025 and just, we started off show talking about Trump pardoning these pro-lifers.
I know we got the Trump. We got the Trump show now.
It's nice to have a president who is actually can think and do his own stuff. I feel like Biden.
The bar is so low.
Biden couldn't think, couldn't do anything, couldn't speak hardly, couldn't, he was just a satiant being in the office. And Trump, and at the same time, Biden didn't care about the injustice happening to the pro-lifers, the injustice happened to January 6 people, the injustice happening, even to Trump. I mean, the FBI was going illegal, the lawfare that was happening. So I feel like there's some positivity in the air, in that there's some justice is kind of back into parts of our country. We still need to repent. If there's anything that like we push in these next 4 years, like the church needs to repent, because if the church repented, God would bless our country with, I think, immense,
I think so,
joy and material blessing and spiritual blessing, and so that's a whole other show. But
that's a whole other show. Yeah, I'm sure you guys.
I got a lot of thoughts. I've been thinking about that.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. And
okay, baby,
people are excited. All right, we did. Okay,
you got to go pick up the kids from school. I do, and then I got to prep for another show, and then I got film night for the girls. They're coming in the studio, and we're gonna watch through some basketball games and eat some pizza and everything.
Oh, I know. You have a fun night. And then just tell Lynn to be in touch with her about what she does tonight. I'm all right. Again,
if you guys want to be in communication with us, email us questions, ideas, thoughts, sponsorships, support our show. RenchMedia, RENCH, RenchMedia at gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning in the show. I got to look at the right camera. I can't. Every time I'm in the studio, I got 4 cameras in the studio, and apparently that is the right one.
That's the one.
And so if you guys, thank you for supporting the show. Follow me on Twitter, follow Annie on Instagram, and we'll be back next week live in the studio on Thursday. Thank you.
Promise we'll be back.
I think it's important to know the vaccination status of my coworkers.
What's your policy on paying employees to attend protests?
How are your safe spaces?
What's your policy on microaggressions?
I already feel microaggressed.
I only work remotely. You're triggering me.
My pronouns are they, them, their.
V, viz, veer.
Z, them, zir.
I'm bored. Hold on, I got a text.
You don't run a daycare, you run a business. That's why you need redballoon.work.
I gotta get going.